Alright guys, so welcome to this class. Alright, this is my Photoshop interface. Okay, you can see these are the recent designs I've done. That's why they are popping up here. Okay, now quickly let me show you how things work here. Alright, let me show you how things work. So quickly let's start making a design. Okay, so I'll come here and say create new file here. Okay, so create new file, and then width is 5 and then height is 7. Alright, can decide to make yours otherwise, but then I want this to be portrait. I want the size to be portrait. Of course, portrait, the height will be higher than the width, as you can see. Alright, so my width is 5 and my height is 7. Resolution is 500. That's okay. You can make it 400 if you want. Okay, or even 300 if you want. Okay, and when you've done that, please make sure it's on RGB here. Alright, make sure it's on RGB. Okay, I think every other thing is fine. You don't need to touch any other thing. So just say create. So that's it. This is our canvas. Alright, this is our empty canvas. This is where the creativity takes place. Alright, this is where you bring in your A game. Okay, okay, so this is where the creativity happens. Alright, so quickly let's just design a children program flyer, a kids program flyer. Alright, so I want to bring a circle here. So this is where you come to this place. You can see this is a rectangle, but when you right click on your mouse, it will show you other options there. There is ellipse, which is a circle. There is polygon, there is rounded rectangle, there is line tool, there is custom shape tool. But what I want is the circle. Alright, so I'll pick my circle here, I'll select it. You can see the default fill is orange because that's the fill here. Alright, it's because that's the fill here. You can decide to change this background color. You can see this up is background color, and then this white too is the for background color. Alright, so from here you can flip the colors. From here you can flip the colors from white to orange, from orange to white, but anyone at the top. Alright, anything you pick here, any text tool you pick, we carry um automatically this one at the top. Alright, so let me show you now. So let's just draw a circle now. You can see we just drew a circle. You see what happened there. So these are your layers. Okay, you can always move your I always move mine to the side like this. You can see I just moved mine to the side. All right, can draw. So it's on orange, but then I don't want it to be orange. I don't want the color to be orange. So what do? I'll double click on this thumbnail here, this four corner thumbnail. I will double click on it. 1 2. Now when I double click, it brings you to this place now. So from here now you can choose any color you want. Alright, you can decide to choose red, pink, blue, purple, any color you want. Okay, you can see them. Now if it's green you want to pick, when you come to green, place it to green first, and then you can come inside there and select the exact kind of green you want inside of this place. If it's yellow you want, place it on this yellow tab, and then come inside there and pick all the colors you want. You see how that works? Alright, if it's red, just place it on red, come inside there and pick the red you want. You see how it works? For now I want to pick blue. Alright, so let's say I'll pick my blue. Alright, so you pick your blue, then you can come in here and select this kind of blue, maybe this kind of blue. Let's say I'm good with this kind of blue. When you're done, just say okay. Alright, you can see I have a circle here. Alright, now what I want to do here is I want to place pictures. I want to place pictures here. I want to place pictures here, but this is where I want to put my right up. Okay, so what do I do now? The how layers work on Photoshop is any layer that is on top now will be superimposing on the layers that are under it. You see, so I have my circle under, but then I want to bring pictures here. All right, so let's go drag in a picture. Let's go drag in a picture. Let me go to my files. Let me go to my file explorer. Okay, so this is my file explorer. I can go to my desktop. Okay, this is my desktop. Then I can go to this folder, this skin kit. Okay, so these are my pictures here. These are the pictures I have here I want to work with. So what do I do first? I can pick this, I can select this one and drag it into the Photoshop. Okay, so I'm dragging in a picture now. All right, you can see I just dragged in a picture here. But do you see something? Can you see it's on top of the circle? All right, but then I want the circle to be on top. So what do? I'll just come here and drag it down. Can you see now that the circle is on top? All right, so that's how layers work on Photoshop. All right, that's how layers work on Photoshop. So I've showed you two things now. First, how to bring in pictures or documents or elements. All right, and secondly, how layers work. If I bring in another layer and place it on top of this picture, on top of this kid picture, as you can see, it should be superimposing. That's the one you will be seeing. All right, so let me do this again. Press Ctrl Z to go back. So Ctrl Z. So instead of you dragging the picture in and then coming here to drag it down, what you can do is you can select the layer exactly under this circle. You can select the layer first and then go to where you have the picture and drag it in. So watch now. Can you see now? It came exactly under it. Alright, because I selected the layer that was under it before I went to drag in the picture. Can you see that? Alright, so that's how layers work on Photoshop. So let's just delete this. You can delete, of course. So that's one way to drag in picture. Come here, select the picture and just drag it in. Alright, if you want to bring in a picture or elements, alright, but then I'll delete this. Let me show you another way to bring in documents, to bring in objects, elements into your designs. Alright, so let's just go. Let's come to file. Alright, when you come to file, come to place embedded. Come to place embedded. Okay, and then come to your desktop now, the place you have the folder. Alright, so these are the folders. This is the particular folder. Double click on it to open it, and these are the pictures. So just select anyone and say place. Place. You can see that. So that's another way to do it on Photoshop. Alright, so from here now you can make it small. From here you can make it big. If you think you've expanded it or decreased it to the size you want it to be, just press enter. Okay, so there is a drop. Of course, I've shown you how layers work. If you want to place it under this circle, just drag it down. It comes under it. All right. Alright, so that's another way to drag in pictures. So I've placed this under this circle. Let me make it smaller because I want to bring in another picture here. Okay, and just put it at the edge. Okay, okay, let me bring another picture. So let's go drag in another picture. Okay, let's bring in this one. So I'll just drag it in into the Photoshop. I'll just drag it in. All right, you can see now. So I just brought in another picture, so I can reduce the size of this one. Okay, you can see as I'm selecting this and dragging in a picture, any other picture I'm dragging in will be coming exactly on top of it. Of course, I showed you that's how layers work now. I just showed it to you. All right, so let me drag in another picture here, or let me follow the second format or the option, another option like I showed you. So let me come to place and say place embedded, and then select this picture now, select this and say place. Okay, so this is it. So let me decrease the size. You can see, right? You can see. So this is it. I've placed it in. So I've placed my picture in. All right. So you can always rasterize it. All right. You can always sometimes before you can effect some changes on the layer or on the object, you need to rasterize it so that it stops being a smart object. All right. So I'll click on this one, come here, right click here and say rasterize layer. I'll click on this and say right click and say rasterize layer. I'll rasterize all. Okay, so that's just that. So this is my circle. I can decide to move this circle up. Okay, so let me bring in another pictures. I'll place under here. All right, so I'll select my background now so that the picture I'm bringing in will come exactly under it. So let's come to file and then come to place embedded. All right, and select this picture and say place. And you can see, so I can make it smaller from here. Okay, okay. So if you want to zoom in and zoom out on Photoshop, just hold your space button. If you hold your space button and press Control, that is to zoom in. You can see the plus that popped up now. So whenever you click, it will zoom. It will be zooming in. Holding your space button, you can be moving it to any size you want. All right, you can be moving it just only your space button. But when you want to zoom in now, hold Control. You can see zooming in. But when you want to zoom out, hold the same space button on your keyboard and select alternate. You can see the minus just came up now. So I can click on it and zoom out. You see how it works? Yes, as simple as that. Space and Control is zoom in, space and alternate is zoom out. Alright? Okay. So let's say I'm done placing this picture where I want. I'll just mark here or press enter on my keyboard. So let me bring in another picture. Let me bring in this picture here. So I'll just drag it in here and place it here. Alright, you can see it came at the top because I didn't select any layer before dragging it in here. Alright, so it came at the top. So I'll press enter. Alright, so I'll now need to come here and drag it down. You can see it's now down, it's now the last. Alright, so let me bring in another picture and place here. So go to that same place Okay, so let's just use this picture again. Let me drag it in. I don't have enough pictures here, so let me drag it in and then place it at the edge. Place it here. All right, but then I need to drag it down. Let it be under this last picture I brought. So I'll select it and drag it down here. Okay, so you can see it just came under this picture here. But then see one thing, this picture, the frame is getting to this place. So I need to cut this picture from here so that the picture under it can be showing. So what do? I want to cut. So I'll come here and select this polygon tool here and select it, and then just click on the side I want to cut. Click here, click here. You can click from outside. So when you're done clicking, just press enter. So it selects that side. So all you have to do is delete. So I'll just delete. But can you see what it says? Because I'm here to rasterize this layer, see what it gave me as a response. It says could not complete request because the smart object is not directly editable. So whenever it's like this, it's a smart object. But when you right click and rasterize it, all right, is now everything is now editable. You can now do everything on it. When it's a smart object, it's not every effect that can work on it, just like this cut I want to do now. All right, so I'll say okay. All right, so what do I do? I'll now come here, right click and rasterize. So when you rasterize, you can now delete. Can you see how that worked? So Control D is still selected. I want to deselect it. What do? I press Control D to deselect. All right. So let me show you that again. Control Z to go back. All right. So this is the picture that was blocking the picture down. So what do you do first? You right click and rasterize. Choose your polygon tool. Come here and choose your polygon tool and then cut. Cut from here and go from outside. Enter. Then press the enter button on your keyboard. So it selects that side, just that side, and then you can press delete. It's gone. All right. So you can see it is still selected. For you to deselect, just press Ctrl D to deselect. All right. So this is the picture. So let me just make this picture black and white. I need to rasterize this one too. So I right click and say rasterize layer. So for you to desaturate, what do? Press Ctrl Shift U. So you can desaturate. So you can turn the picture to black and white. That is the shortcut. Let me go back, Ctrl Z. To desaturate, what do? I just press Ctrl Shift U. Okay. So let me show you how to do that manually. Let's go back, Ctrl Z. Maybe you're having issues with your keyboard and you want to do it manually. Just select on the layer, that's on the picture, and then come to image. Okay. Come to adjustments. Okay. So come to hue and saturation. Come to hue and saturation. Select it. All right. Then this saturation, move it to the far end. You can see what happened. I moved it to the far end and it removed every color on the image. So that's how to do it manually. Ctrl Z. But if you want to do it through the shortcut, of course, that will always be your best option. Just select the image and press Ctrl Shift U, and it's already on black and white. So that is it. That is that. All right. So this is the picture. I want to make it smaller. I want to make this picture small. I want to change the color of this. I want to modify this blue a bit. So what do? Just select that. I told you, double click on this thumbnail here and then come here. You can decide to make it darker if that's what you want. All right. I think I'm okay with this now. So when you're done, press OK. So let me just show you something as we are going. So let's say I bring in another rectangle. I draw another rectangle. I'll come here and select another rectangle and draw, or another circle. Let me use rectangle now. Alright, I told you right click to see the other options under. Any tool you come to here, when you right click, it shows you the other tools under that one. So I'll come here and right click now. It shows me the other tool. So I'll select rectangle and then I'll just draw a rectangle. Okay, of course, you should select this color because it's the default color. Alright, so I'll draw. That same dropping I showed you on CorelDRAW, this is how to do it. This is where you do it from. Alright, it's the first tool here. So I've drawn my rectangle and I want to give it the same color as this blue. Let me show you the color picker, how the color picker works. So I'll double click on this thumbnail here. Alright, so here is the color picker. So whenever you're inside here and move outside, this color picker pops up. So any color you pick, it will affect it on the rectangle. So watch, I just selected this color. You can see what it did. I just picked this green. You can see the color it gave me. I just picked this blue. I just picked this blue. You can see. I just picked this one. I just picked this black. You see how it works. I just picked this color. If it's this color you want, just click on it and it will pick exactly that color. Alright. So that's how the color picker works. Alright. Just wanted to show you that as we're going. So I'll delete. So the next process in this our design is, let me duplicate this circle. Alright. So I'll press Ctrl J to duplicate, or let me press Ctrl J. Watch, Ctrl J. So there's a duplicate. You can see this one is now copy. Take this one copy, and this one is the original. But then this one is under. So this one under, I can decide to change the color. Double click. I can decide to change the color. I can decide to give it this color. Alright, or any color here. But you can see it's under and it's exactly the same size with this one, but it's not showing. So what do? You can use your arrow key, the arrow key on your keyboard, to move it. You can see as I'm doing now. Alright, so I'll just move it to the side, or from here you can drag it to this side, from here you can drag it to this side. Alright, this is the idea of what I'm doing. So this is it. Okay, so I'll duplicate this same circle again, Ctrl J, or you do it manually. You can right click and then you can see the duplicate layer option here. Now this is how to do it manually. If you don't want this, just press Ctrl J on your keyboard. So if I select this now, yes, I'll say OK. So you can see this one also has a duplicate now. So let's go back. Let me show you that again. I want to duplicate this. I'll just press Ctrl J, or I right click and select duplicate layer and say OK. So we now have a duplicate, but the one I want to move is the one under. So I'll select it and then use, because you cannot see it, of course there won't be anywhere to drag. If you want to drag it with your cursor, it will be dragging the layer on top. So what do? You select it, because it's invisible, because it's still at the back. You select it, and then I told you how layers work. If you want it to come to the top, just drag it up. Now it will be the number one layer and it will be visible. But because it's under, you can't see it. Alright. So what do? You select it, use your arrow key to move down. You can see it's moving down. You can use your side arrow key to move it to this side. You can see what I'm doing. Yes. So now it's visible. I think you can now move it with your mouse or cursor. Alright. Okay. So this is it. I can decide to change the color to, double click on this thumbnail and then maybe select pink or something. All right. Okay, this is okay. So when you're done selecting, just press OK. If you think it's coming out too much, just move it in a bit. All right. But then see something now. I don't want this circle to be showing here. I don't want this color to be coming out here. All right. So what do? I'll select the circle, right click and rasterize it again. Rasterize it. Now, because I've rasterized it, I can no longer change the color from here. I can no longer change the color from here. Let me show you how you can change the color when you rasterize. So first, let's rasterize it. I need to rasterize it because I want to cut out this side. So it won't be showing this side. So I'll select it and then come here, come to that polygon tool again and select, press enter and delete. You can see it's gone. Alright. And just say Ctrl D to deselect it. Alright. So let me show you now. It's no longer this thumbnail here. This thumbnail showing on these ones are no longer showing here because I've rasterized it. So let's say I still want to change the color. What do I do at this time? So I'll select it, come to Effects. This is the manual way to do it. Let me show you the manual first. Come to Effects, select, and then come to Blending Options. Okay, so you see the page that popped up. Alright, this is the page for all the effects. Alright, so this is the page for all the effects. You can move it to any side you want. So here I can come here and mark color. You can see it just made it black because that was the last color I used. If I don't want black, because I've checked the color overlay tab, so I'll come here now and select, and then it takes you to this place. So from here you can now change any color you want. Alright, you can now change any color you want, green. Alright, when you're done, if it's green, when you're done, you can see it's changing. Alright, so when you're done, just press OK. Alright, just press OK, and this is it. You've changed the color from there. You can see it's showing you that you've used the color overlay on the effect. Alright, the way it's showing, if you want to close it up, just come here and click. You can see you've closed it up. If you want to open it up, just come here and click. Alright, okay, so that is just that. So let's type now. Let's type. So this is the text tool. So I'll select my text tool. Okay, and then drop it. Alright, that's something I usually do. When you select your text tool, I usually move my text box here. So how do you do it? Come on top here and click. You can see this text box just came to this side. So instead of me coming here to do every other effect, I'll be doing it from here. I don't want this tab. I don't want this tab. I'll delete. This is the only tab I want. Okay. So here, from here, you can be moving it like this to increase the size. Alright. So this is where you change the size. So here is to space out horizontally. Here is to space out horizontally. Alright, if you're moving it like this, it is spacing out horizontally. If you're moving it in like this, it will be closing it down horizontally. So okay, let's say if this was two lines, let's just type children boot camp. Let's just type children boot camp. Alright, you can see this is a step text. This is a three-line text because but you can see how it's unpacked. So what do? I'll select that too. I usually like to highlight it. To highlight it, just double click on this T here to highlight. Just double click, and then from here you can move it down. Okay, from here you can move it down. So this is how to space it down horizontally. Sorry, vertically. This is how to space it down. But if I want to do it horizontally, I'll move like this. You can see. All right. So that's how it works. So if you can see now, I'm using the left alignment. All right. So everything here is aligned to the left. This is usually the default alignment. You know, when you're designing, there's always a default setting. All right. The default setting with the text box here is the left alignment. You can see everything is lining up from this left, but I want to use the center alignment. So what do? I'll highlight and then come here and select center. You can see I've selected the center alignment. Okay, so let me drop from here. I'll select it. So when you drop now, you can move it after you have dropped. Okay, so children bootcamp. So children bootcamp, let me change the text style. Let me change the font. I'll just come here. Okay, so you can come here and be selecting the kind of font you want to use. All right, so children bootcamp. Let's just check. Okay, let's try this. Okay, this is fine. So this is fine. All right, so children bootcamp. Okay, I think it's looking like a kiddies font. As you can see, it's looking like a kiddies font. All right, so children bootcamp. What do I do next? I want to make it capital letters. I want it to be on capital letters. All right, so I'll come here and select this. I'll mark this double T. So it makes everything capital letters, as you can see. Okay, so this is one text together. It's three lines, but it's together. So what do I do next? I want to reduce the size of the children. Okay, so I'll double click on the T. When I double click, so it shows me the text cursor. From here, I can highlight only the children. Okay, so from here, I can move it down. All right, I just want it to be smaller and be in alignment with the others. Okay, I think this is fine now. You can see what I'm doing. If you move like this, it becomes bigger. If you move in, it becomes smaller. All right, so children bootcamp. So another thing I want to do is I want to space it out vertically like I showed you from here. So now I need to highlight all, and then from here I can drag it down to space it out vertically. All right, so if you think you're done, if you think it's fine, just drop. When you feel you've gotten what you want, just drop. So children bootcamp. All right, you can decide to make this bigger and decide to make this bigger. Okay, so this is our main text. This is our main text. All right, this is the highlight. So children bootcamp. So I want to manipulate this text in another way. Of course, now I be designer. So as designer what I be, let me do one or two on the text. So I'll double click on the T to highlight the text, and then I'll come here to create a warp text. So I'll come here and then this node, click on this node and select whether arc or arc lower or bulge, any of these. Depends on the one you want. So there is arc. You can see what you did to the text. So from here you can move it down. If you want to close it down, okay. And then you come there again. If you don't like this, come here and select arc upper. You can see what it's doing to it. You can see. If you don't like that, there is also arc lower. If this is what you want, you can do it from here. But I think I'll be going with arc upper. Alright, so you can see. So you can if you drag it down, see what it's giving. If you drag it up, see what it's giving. So I'll move it down. I think I'm cool with this. Children bootcamp. So when you're done, just click OK. Alright, and then drop. So children bootcamp. Alright, so children bootcamp. So children bootcamp. Alright, so let me go back there and modify something a little bit again. So I'll double click on this T and come back here, and then I can just decide to play around like this, and then I can decide to play around like this, and then say okay. So when you're done, just say mark it here and then yes. So children bootcamp. So this is it. So we have our main text. So children bootcamp. Let me also manipulate something. All right. So I'll double click on it. I will duplicate it. Sorry, by pressing Ctrl J. I told you already. Okay. So I'll select the one under and then right click and then convert it to shape. All right. I'll convert it to shape. I'll come here and convert it to shape. All right. So when you convert it to shape, see what I want to do. I will come to this rectangle tool. You can see it's now a shape. All right. It's just like every other rectangle or circle. So I'll come here. The fill is white. I don't need a fill on it. So I'll select this fill and then remove it from here. So the fill is gone now, but I want an outline on it. This is the stroke. That is what it's called on Photoshop. If it was CorelDRAW, it's called outline, but on Photoshop, it's called stroke. Alright, so I'll give it a 5 points here. Alright, enter. I've given it a stroke, but then the stroke is on black. It's black. I don't want a black stroke, so I'll select here and then give it white. You can see. So this one under, I've given it a stroke, but it doesn't have a fill. So how do you suit that? You can use the arrow key now and move it to the side. You can see how. You see what I'm doing? So this is the idea of what I want to do. You can see what it's giving, right? You can see what it's giving. So let me delete this and repeat the process. So children bootcamp, I'll select it. I'll do Ctrl J to duplicate. I'll select the one under. That's the one I want to work on, of course. I'll select it. I'll right click. Okay, and then convert to shape. After converting to shape, come to this layer here, this rectangle layer, and then come to this place. It has a white fill, all right, because it's on white, so it has a white fill. So I'll select the fill and then remove it from here. So this stroke now is for outline. I want to give it a stroke. So I'll come here and let me input 3. So 3, enter. So I've given it a stroke. That's an outline. If it's CorelDRAW, it's called outline. But on Photoshop, it's called stroke. So I've given it a stroke. But then I'll come here to this tab and make it white and make it a white stroke because it was on black before. It was on black before. So I'll select it and change color. If it's on yellow, you select. But here I want to make it white. Alright, so I'm done now. So when I'm done, I'll just drop. So this text under now is what we worked on, but it's not visible because it's the same size as the one on top. So what do? Just use your arrow key in your keyboard and move it to the side. You can see that that's what I just done. And decide to move it down. Alright. So children bootcamp. You see how stylish it looks. Alright. So if I want to move both together now, I'll just select this one. I'll hold the control button on my keyboard and select the one on top. So I can move the two at the same time. Alright, so children boot camp. If you want to make it bigger, of course you can drag it bigger. Okay, enter. Alright, so you can come here. Let's type again now. So text, drop and type. Let's type. So let's change the font. Let's change the font from here. Alright. Okay, I think we can use this font. News. Alright, let's just type the date. So 4th to 6th October. 4th to 6th October 2024. So I've typed the date, but let me highlight all and close the gap horizontally. You can see the spacing is too much. So you close it down from here and then close it up vertically from here. Alright. You can see I'm closing it up. Okay, so come to this regular and change it to bold. Okay, so that is the date. You can of course decrease it from here too. If you don't want to, come here and then insert the size you want it. Okay, you can always drag it from up. All right, so 4th to 6th October 2024. Okay, so let's close in that gap again. I told you to zoom in, just hold the space button and control to zoom in. Okay, so I double click on this T and then move it up. Okay, all right, so that's the date. I'll zoom out. So let me select the circle here. Then so let me come here and right click like I told you and select a circle and then draw a circle here. So I've drawn a circle here, but I don't want this color. I'll select my layer, double click on this place like I told you guys, and then select yellow. I want to use yellow, pure yellow. You can see it was on orange before, but I want yellow here. Alright, so press OK. When you're done, let's type a text too. Let's type. You say for keys, enter to go to the next line. Age, 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 4 to 7. For keys, age 4 to 7. Okay, so when you're done typing, you can move it here. You can see it's not really invisible, so you can change the color to black from here. Just click on the color here and then make it black from here. You can see for keys 8, 7 to 6. Can select the circle, hold your control and select for keys and then make it smaller. Alright, so we can just come to this side and list all the highlights of the event. Alright, so just select your text tool and drop and be typing. Let's type. Let's say kiddies games or kiddies bag. Because this is a fiction design. It's not an official design. Let's just use any game we want. Kiddies, quiz, quiz answer, quiz answer, games, enter, games, plays, drama. Okay, so we are done typing. As you can see, it's on black. I'll come here and change the color to white. Alright, please, there is no way you can be using a blue as this background and then you now come and be using black to type on top of it. Please, that is a blunder. That is a design blunder. Don't even try it. Okay. So here now, so you can decrease this from here. All right. You can see the alignment is not really proper. The right alignment to use here is the left alignment. So that everything will start on this line. So what do? I double click on the T and then come here, select a left alignment, sorry. All right. So this is the right, this is the left. So we are using the left, of course. All right. So kiddies games. All right. So let's just place a rectangle on top of it. Let me come here, right click and select a rectangle. So let's draw a rectangle. So I just drew a rectangle. All right. If you don't like the color, like I don't like it now, so I'll come here and double click to change the color of the text. All right. So I think this is fine until okay. I want to type the highlight on top. I want to type highlight in here. So I'll select my tool again, drop, and type highlights, highlights. Okay. Because you can see it's a bit too big. So I'll come here and decrease the size. I can make it 12. Okay. So that is just that. You can see how fine our design is looking already. Okay, for keys A7 to 10. We have not saved though. So what do? Please don't walk to this level before you save. Whenever you open a new file and you've done some things on it, just save immediately. Control X or come here to file and say save. Alright. You can save this to our desktop. You can save it to desktop. Okay. You can save it to desktop. Okay. So where is our desktop? So okay, this is our desktop. Okay. So let's just save it into this folder. Let's say children bootcamp, children bootcamp. When you're done, say enter. And then this question will pop up. Alright. Just say okay whenever it pops up. So he's saving. So he's done saving. He done save sharp sharp. Okay. So children bootcamp. So let me zoom in. As you can see, I'm zooming in. So let me bring in a and that icon, that symbol of address. Let me bring it here and type the address. All right, or here. So let me look for it. So let me look for it. So this is where I save my icons. You can see them, all the icons that I need. So these are all my icons. As you can see. Okay, so let's just go down. So I pick the icon I'm looking for. I'm looking for that icon for address. Okay, this one. So this is it. So this is it. All right, I'll just drag it in here. Okay, you can see it's big. Of course, I can always decrease it. I can decrease it from here. All right, so this is it. Of course, I told you can rasterize it. Right, you can rasterize it. Right click and say rasterize there. So now let me change the color. Let me change the color from this black. All right, let me change the color. What do? I can double click on this place. So it brings me to this layer style tab. This was where we came before, right? And then I'll mark the color overlay. This was the last color I used. I don't want pink, so I'll click on it and select white and say okay, and then say okay. All right. You see where I clicked? Let me go back. Control Z. You see where I clicked? See exactly where I clicked. You can come and click here, and what you mean is you want to rename the layer. All right. But see where I click. See exactly where I clicked. This is like the shortcut. When you click on it, it takes you inside this layer style. All right. But this is how to do it manually. This was the one I showed you the first time. This is how you do it manually. Come to effects and select, go to blending option. It takes you to that same place. So just check your color box here. All right, it's on white. You just say okay. Just like that, I've changed the color. So now let me type the address. Let me just type the address. Ivy League, Ivy, Ivy League, Ivy League, Ivy League Complex, comma, 123, Old Road, Old Road, Onitsha. Okay. So this is the address. Of course, you know why everything is appearing on capital letters? It's not because I'm using my caps lock on my keyboard. It's because we checked this double T option. That's why everything is typing on capital letters. But you can see I just removed it and it came back to the normal letters I typed it. So Ivy League Complex 123. I think old can come down, enter, come here and backspace. All right. So just like that, you can close in the gap a bit. I told you already how to close in the gap. So come here and move, and then check. And then you can select the venue icon, hold your control button and select this. Sorry, hold your shift button and select this, and then move it like this. All right. So that's just that. Our design don't finish. Oh. I can hold the shift button. I can select this rectangle. I will hold the shift button and select highlight. Hold the shift button again and select these things. I can make it smaller. Alright, I can make everything smaller. I can select this circle, hold the shift button and select for keys and then make it smaller. Alright. So I wanted to make everything small so it doesn't interfere with the children boot camp. Alright. So you can come here and type the name of the school. Let's just type it. Let's say Ivy League, Ivy League, Ivy League Academy. Alright, Ivy League Academy. I move it here and then come to this black. If I want to pick this white, I'll just click on it. Alright, it's already selected and then say okay. So Ivy League Academy, you can decrease the size from here, you can make it 10. So Ivy League Academy, you can space it out. You remember we did this yesterday on CorelDRAW, you can space it out from here. Ivy League Academy. You can use the bold or you can use the medium italics. So you see how it looks. So that's just that. So that's how to design on Photoshop, alright? So when you're done, just press Ctrl X so you can save your last changes. Alright. So this is saved already. So when you're done designing, how do you now export your finished product? How do you export your finished product? So come to file and say export, alright, and then export as, alright. So let me export. We are exporting now. Alright, remember this is one you put in your phone. This is one you put in your phone. So it's on PNG. Of course, I don't want it as PNG. I want it as JPEG. So I click here and select JPEG. Alright. So this is it. This is JPEG. The quality is 100%, and the size, as you can see, is 1.3 megabytes. If you want to decrease the size, come here and select 50 or 40%. Alright. You don't need to touch any other thing here. So we just say export all. So it directs you to the folder where you want to save it. Let's save it at the same folder where we save the file, and then say save. Alright. So that is just that. So let's go to the folder now. Let's go to that folder on the desktop, and this is the folder. So this is our exported file. This is our exported file. This one is a raw file, alright. This one is the one you can always open and edit. Maybe the client told you to edit the date or the time. So this one you will always open. Make sure this one is saved, alright. You don't need to delete this one. This is the raw file. When they say raw file, this is what it means. Photoshop file, this is it. This is editable. But this is the finished product. This is not editable, alright. So if you want to view, just double click. Alright, so you can see I just viewed now. If you want to put this in your phone, just come and copy and then connect your phone via USB and just paste it in your phone. Alright. So that's our design. You can see this is a fine design, obviously. So that's how you design on Photoshop. Alright. So thank you guys. If you have your questions, of course, throw them at me.